Are we making progress? When we talk about how the numbers are going to increase, my generation, the baby boomers, we're getting older into that area.
Yep.
My mother-in-law suffered from Alzheimer's, so we've had that personal involvement with it. So, so many people are looking, saying, "Are we making progress? Are we learning anything more that's going to help us down the road?" What's the answer to that?
The answer is a resounding yes. We absolutely are. There's more optimism in the scientific community today around Alzheimer's disease than ever before in our history. We're learning new things every day. Researchers have new tools that they never had before. Without getting into too many details, the kinds of clinical trials that we can do today are completely different from the kinds of clinical trials that we could do even 10 years ago. And that's due to things like advances in brain imaging techniques, et cetera. So we are actually making tremendous progress. Lots of researchers think that we may be just a few years away from the first approved medication that wouldn't just treat the symptoms of Alzheimer's disease, but could actually potentially reverse the course of the disease in the brain. Similar to what we have for cancer now. Many people with cancer 30 years ago, there was nothing you could really do, but today, with many cancers, you can actually cure those cancers. And most researchers believe that we're on the cusp of that same kind of breakthrough with Alzheimer's disease today.